That's the part that protects. But Christ, he says, I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I still got a life. Yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me. And what did he do?
He gave himself to me.
God didn't have to take it, did he?
He gave it.
I just told you.
That's right.
You're not going to get victory until you're going to give the triumphant entry. You got to be bold enough to knock the door.
My God.
You got to be bold enough to knock the door. You ride by, some people, I just need to go in there. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I need to be, I just need it. That's the triumphant entry. What it's doing is it's literally drawing you to the place of victory. Not the place of defeat, but the place of victory. So even though you come, and it seems like all hell is breaking loose in your life, and it seems like everything is just going haywire, it's because victory is down. I've watched some walk away from their victory just to take defeat. I just showed y'all some stuff, man. I showed y'all the plan, the strategy of how that stuff set up. When Jesus made the triumphant entry, he told the disciples, he says, I want y'all to go ahead of me so they'll know I'm coming. Send y'all here. There's always going to be somebody to talk about your arrival before you come. I remember saying, I went to go preach somewhere some years ago, and I remember the lady said to me, we knew who you were before you got here. Jesus told him, he said, listen, go ahead. Go ahead. He says, go ahead of me. He says, I want you to go into the town, and when you get into the town, you're going to find a coat tied up there. He said, now this is a coat that has not ever been ridden. It's literally been preserved for this time. For this time. So, let me encourage y'all to let you know that God has something special reserved for you. But you cannot get it until you make your triumphant entry. You won't get it till you make that triumphant entry. Till you break past that barrier and just take yourself on in. By having made the decision to die. Jesus made the decision before he went there. He just left Gethsemane. Gethsemane was the place where he was battling with what he was going to do, remember? Gethsemane was where he was saying, nevertheless, he says, Father, if it be thy will, let this cup pass me by. Don't make me have to go to Triumph, Lord. Don't make me have to go back to Pastor Lee. Just give me another route. Give me another pastor. Give me somebody else I can talk to, Lord. Rather than to have to go to Triumph. Please don't make me have to go back to Triumph. This is the conversation some folk are having even now. Please, Lord, don't make me have to go back to Triumph. But the Lord said your triumphant entry is down. Please don't make me have to do that, but I got something preserved for you, and you got to go by there to get it. You got to go by there. So he's having the struggle. So please understand and know that before a person makes the triumphant entry, they've had to fight of their life, man. They've had to fight of their life, because the triumphant entry represents the dying or the willingness to die of yourself. So you better believe it's going to be hard as hell before you do it. Boy, you talking about great drops of blood, it said was falling from Jesus. Said it was falling, literal blood was falling from him at Gethsemane, because he was fighting that bad. And that's what they're doing, fighting just that hard. Simply the Lord is saying, you need to go to Trim, you need to go to Trim, you need to go get that, you need to go fix that, you need to go deal, you need to go see Pastor Lee, you need to have a meeting with Pastor Lee, you need to talk to Pastor Lee. All that blood just falling. Great drops of blood. The fight, the literal fight takes place. It is a literal sign of what we were doing before we literally just broke and came to the altar. Anybody came to the altar and wasn't crying? Huh? Did any of you could just come sliding to the altar and say, I want to get saved today? Was it that easy?
No.
I bet it wasn't. It was a Gethsemane that took place before you took your butt up there. I guarantee you that. It was a Gethsemane. You know, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go. I don't want to get up and go. Get up and go. See, that was Gethsemane. Because that's what was going on with Jesus. In Gethsemane, he was having the fight of his life. But he had to go ahead and say, nevertheless. Your breakthrough is behind your. Paul said, pull it back down some. Paul said, I am crucified with Christ. Your breakthrough is behind your nevertheless. Jesus' breakthrough came after he said, after he said, nevertheless.
Yes.
I don't want to go deal with Pastor Lee.
Nevertheless.
Nevertheless, let me call her. Pastor, can I talk to you?
Nevertheless. Oh, God. Let me do this.
I don't want to be at Trim. I want to go somewhere else and sit under another preacher.
Go. Come back.
Nevertheless. Everywhere does not represent a triumphant entry. You can only have one place where there is a triumphant entry. It was designed for Jesus to die at the place that he died. Do you hear what I'm saying? He could not die anywhere else. Henceforth, case in point, whenever they tried to get him in a place that he escaped.
That was the conflict.
He escaped every time. And when the woman desired to touch him, he said, no, my hour has not yet come. There is a specific place of death. Your triumphant entry, because your triumphant entry is connected to somebody that is the Jesus in your life. Somebody is the Jesus in your life. I keep telling y'all, and I'm going to say it to you again, because maybe you can hear it in clarity today. God uses people. God uses people. So I don't know why you got a problem with who God uses. God uses people. Although I know you know that God is a spirit, he still has to have a body to dwell in. So if you would just open your mind to understand that God uses people, it'll stop some of the struggle of you fighting with who he uses.
Amen.
Because a lot of people are losing because they're fighting who he's using. When you don't make that determination. Your triumphant entry is connected to somewhere. Maybe it's true. Your triumphant entry. How you will know is, give y'all a sign. How you will know if that is your place of triumphant entry. It will be because you went there to die. It's going to provoke death. If you can still live, Rhoda, that ain't your place. If you can still live, if you can still be comfortable doing what you're doing and be at peace with it, that ain't your place. Because the triumphant entry represented death. Yeah. He went into that place to die. So if you're sitting in a place and you still can do whatever you want to do and there's no conviction about it, there's no acknowledgement of the fact that it's wrong, you at least should be able in your mind to know, man, I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to do this, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might have found yourself doing it, but there still should be something that says this ain't right. But if you are comfortable with it, and you can just walls in a place, and just be free with what you're doing, that is not your place of death. How you know who you are assigned to is they gonna kill the hell out of you. I'm talking about kill the hell out of you. You're going to be mad at them sometime. Because they're killing the hell out of you. You're going to feel like they're talking about you with what they're saying. You're going to feel like they designed the message just for you. You're going to tell folk you taking hits from the poor. Yeah. You're going to say that. Just hitting me from the poor. You don't say that when that's your place of death. Because it's going to pull you from that pit.
Amen.
That you in. So yeah, the word going to come exclusively to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sign, seal, deliver. I'm yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come precisely to you. Got a package for you, Miss Coleman. Could you sign for it? Now let Daniel sign. No, this is for you. See? It's going to come specifically for you. So you're going to feel like they talking about me. You're going to feel like it's his. You're going to feel it. But you're going to know if it's coming from a wrong spirit when it's coming to you. You're going to know. You got to understand correction comes in love. Right. If it's right. Mm-hmm. And love comes in correction. Correction comes in love, and love comes in correction. So just because you get corrected doesn't mean you're not loved. And just because you love doesn't mean that you ain't supposed to be corrected. They work hand in hand with each other. So if you feel as though you're somewhere and the person, the pastor or whoever, does not have authority to say anything to you, then you are already messed up. You are already out of order. Mm-hmm. But let me say this. It is amazing to me that nobody feels like a word is specifically for them until they're in sin. Mm-hmm. Now, as long as they good and you preach, they think you talking about everybody but them. They don't mind sister such and such taking a hit. This one here taking a hit. Because they good. They in right standing. They in